Well, that was a lovely introduction. Thank you so much, Noel. It's great to be here today. So as Noel mentioned, my name is Adrienne Schmoeker. I'm the Director of Civic Engagement and Strategy at the New York City Mayor's Office of Data Analytics. And for those of you who don't know what the Mayor's Office of Data Analytics, also known as MODA, that would be our alphabet soup acronym, what we do, we have a handful of data scientists on the team and strategists, and we're responsible for helping to make New York City government more data-driven. And a big part of how we do that is New York City open data. So raise your hand if you've used New York City's open data. Awesome, that's great. I love seeing so many hands in the air. For those of you who didn't raise your hands, to demystify this word that you're going to hear a lot about over the course of the day, I'm sure, on your way here, you interacted with the city in a number of ways. You probably saw a street tree, you might have seen a park bench, maybe you saw a restaurant rating if you grabbed some coffee this morning. Those are all different government services, and they're also government data points, and they are open data points, which means that they're available for you to look at, to use on NYC Open Data. We have close to 2,000 different data assets on the Open Data portal. We see about 20,000 different visitors to the site on average per week. This is a free resource that's available to you to mix, to mash, to build applications with, to solve city problems with. And I encourage all of you to use it as often as you can and share it back with us if you can as well. As Noel mentioned, we've spent the last few days together, and I want to touch on this for a moment. And it has been my privilege to actually spend the last 2 days with more than 50 of the city's open data coordinators. So you should know that while the Mayor's Office of Data Analytics works very closely with the Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications, the City Council, and others to make New York City's open data program a reality, the real change makers within city government are these open data coordinators, a designated person at each city agency that's acting as a change maker within their agency to let people know what open data is, why it's important to make this information available to the public and available to communities like this one. And also just a huge thank you to Noel for being there over the last 2 days and teaching our open data coordinators about civic engagement. I also want to thank this community because while our open data coordinators are important, while those of us who do this work day in and day out, the open data program wouldn't be there without our team at MODA, without folks at other city agencies. Open data also would not exist were it not for people in the room here today. Your questions, your demand for this data is what keeps us going. And I encourage you to keep asking questions, keep using the data, keep getting in touch with us, and pushing us to produce better quality data, to release new data sets. Without your usage and demand, we wouldn't be where we are today, and we wouldn't be able to carry this into the future. I also want to say that I'm excited to be here for my second School of Data. I was here last year for the first time ever and really impressed with the programming, the passion of everyone who is in the room, and you should be excited to be here. For those of you who raised your hand and this is your first day, as Noel mentioned, there's a hack hall. There are going to be a variety of great conversations hosted by city folks, by partners outside of the city. It's a really great opportunity to dip your toe into the civic tech community and to dip your toe into this greater movement that is at the intersection of technology and government. So please applaud yourselves for being here on a Saturday, coming out here to learn more about your city, to learn more about civic tech. Let's just take a moment. Thank you all for being here today. And the greater movement that you're a part of, you're here for School of Data, you're here for the kickoff of Open Data Week, which was mentioned briefly. So we have a full week of events starting today. We had a reception last night. We had an open data art exhibit, which was really exciting. First time we ever did something like that. This is the second time that we're doing Open Data Week, and it's really a celebration of everything that is open data. It's bringing existing communities, new communities together to learn what open data is, to share new ideas around open data. School of Data is an essential part of that. We're lucky to have open data span International Open Data Day, which is today, and the anniversary of the Open Data Law, which is next Wednesday. I encourage you to check out everything that we have going on for Open Data Week. As I mentioned, more than 30 different events. We have workshops for student entrepreneurs. We have high school youth who are part of youth leadership councils who are going to learn how to use open data, and tours at the Museum of the City of New York of a data exhibit. It really runs the gamut. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your colleagues, check it out. And so with that, I do want to thank Noel and the entire BetaNYC team for everything that they've done for Open Data Week, for the broader civic tech community. Open Data Week would not exist had it not been inspired by a question that Noel asked me last year. He said, why don't we just make a week out of this? You know, we have International Open Data Day and the Open Data Law anniversary a few days later. You think we can do it? I was like, okay, well, let's try. Let's do it together. And so this is the second time that we're doing Open Data Week, and it's a true community effort. We couldn't do it without BetaNYC. And I also want to thank just the broader BetaNYC community for putting on School of Data, and also for all of the other work that you do over the course of the year. You really drive the conversation around civic tech in New York City, and that makes such a huge difference for the work that we're doing and for continuing to advocate for change within New York City government. So with that, this year I have a certificate of recognition from the mayor for BetaNYC, which I'd like to read. Presented to BetaNYC for its ongoing contributions to our dynamic tech and open data communities. By fostering civic engagement through technology and supporting my administration's mission to ensure all New Yorkers have access to vital information and services, this organization is helping to empower our diverse residents and strengthen the 5 boroughs. I applaud the efforts of everyone associated with BetaNYC as we work to build a brighter, more equitable, and inclusive future for all. Signed by our Mayor, Bill de Blasio.